Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Nuggets. Today we'll continue to focus on Ephesians 6, verses 10 to 20, to try to understand more of this great controversy. Yesterday, Paul gave believers reassurance that they have God's power at their disposition. And now, Paul continues to talk about the conflict. Even though you have God on your side, you've got to do your part, which is to put on the armor of God. Military imagery was very familiar to Paul because he was chained to a soldier 24/7. He used military imagery in other epistles too, but never in so much detail as in Ephesians. In 2 Corinthians 10, verses 3 to 6, he explains that we don't fight with regular weapons. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once your obedience is complete. I really like that advice that Paul gives. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Psychologists have been able to describe the impact that our thoughts have on everyday life. This is how it works. When you find yourself in a situation, you have thoughts about that situation, and those thoughts trigger feelings, and those feelings trigger behaviors, which in turn affect the situations we find ourselves in. It's a cycle that goes on and on. For example, if you have a car accident, you may find yourself thinking that driving is dangerous and thus feel anxious about the next time you drive. In turn, your anxiety may be so high about driving that you decide to stop driving altogether, and then you find yourself with a transport problem. Now, let's transfer that to the spiritual realm. You find yourself in church one Sabbath morning, and a thought pops up about how boring church is. Consequently, you feel disconnected from the worship and wonder why you're even there. Eventually, those feelings lead you to stop coming to church altogether, and your relationship with God slowly starts to get more and more distant. You're not against God or anything like that. You just stop going to church. And it started with a thought. However, if your thought about church being boring leads you to want to feel more connected, you might look for ways to get more involved instead of detaching more. Thoughts are very powerful because they lead us in one direction or the other. So we have to guard our thoughts and make them obedient to Christ. And that's how spiritual battles are won, one thought at a time. That is our nugget for today. I'll see you tomorrow.